to the disenfranchised poor as a way of improving their lives. I guess. In the past 2 years, 12 out of Nigeria's 36 states have adopted Sharia law. So, I guess you might be asking next, what kind of shit has gone down in Nigeria? Man, them fucking people believe everything. I swear to God, even as Christians, we went over there, we converted them, no problem. Jewish missionaries went over there, no problem. Catholic, no problem. I mean, it's like you can just go over there and say, I need you to believe in my religion, and they say, okay. Nobody says, that just doesn't sound right. So you might want to know what's been gone down so far in Nigeria, or maybe you won't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Sahifa Hosani, 35, was sentenced to death by stoning in October for allegedly having a child with a married neighbor. She had the child after her divorce, but maintained the father was her former husband, and that they were married when the child was conceived. The court convicted her, but Hosani won an appeal, this time alleging that she had sex out of wedlock before Sharia law took effect. I mean, she was scrambling, buddy. She put forward a similar argument during her trial, but was rejected by the courts. Last year, a teenage single mother was given 100 lashes for adultery. She was single. Even though she argued she was raped by 3 men. The court said Barhini Ibadi Bagazo could not prove that the men forced her to have sex. Yeah. In May this year, a Sharia court in Jawaga, wherever the fuck that is, sentenced Samihu Muhammad, 50, to death by stoning her for raping a 9-year-old girl. Well, I mean, The first death sentence imposed on a man for a rape or adultery. In Buchibi, Adama why can't they have names like fucking Bill? Who is 19 and pregnantly, she was kind of pregnantly, was recently sentenced to 100 lashes for having sex with her fiancé because they were not married. Again, I would be killed and beaten 1,000 fucking times over. I mean, Jesus Christ. The issue is already provoking violence between Muslim and Christian communities, particularly in the South, where the Sharia law is not enforced. Nigeria has a Christian president. Go figure that one. Osamambu Osawego, or some shit like that, who hails from the South. He has stated that Sharia law is not a new thing. It is not a thing to be afraid of, and said the federal government would not dispute the right of states to use it. General Obanasho, yeah, that sounded Asian. Anyway, received significant support from Northern Muslims in the last election. He has attempted to deal with the Sharia problem through compromise by persuading courts in the north to modify their sentences. In March, the government ruled that the strict version of Sharia law practiced in Nigeria's north was illegal under the country's constitution. Though it did not exactly mention the case of Safira Husseini. See, I get confused with that shit. I mean, okay, that was the girl. I need to go back now. Hold on a second. That was a girl. Oh, okay, I was a girl that fucked her fiance, and okay. The justice manager. Oh, here we go again. Godwin Agagabi, Mr. Abagabi. Good to see you, sir. Wrote to the 12 northern states which have Muslim majorities saying that a Muslim should not be subjected to a punishment more severe than would be imposed on other Nigerians for the same offense. Mr. Agabi noted that Nigeria cannot be indifferent to international outrage over the incidents. The situation is likely to be further inflamed in the run up to the elections of 2015. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. That's amazing. So, before we got into the origins of Islam, specifically, Muhammad, I wanted to get and it's only because I find this incredibly amusing, and I don't even know why. It seems that Muhammad had a rise to power, which I find interesting. The problem with Muhammad, and I'm trying my best to kind of figure this out. And I know I'm ad-libbing here, and I know I am, and I'm just I'm sitting here going, you know what? The best thing to say before I get into a long explanation of it is that Muhammad was a goat fucker at the time. And when he was flicking goats, what he would like to do is and I swear to God, I'm not even making it up. Well, the goat fucker thing I might be making up, but he would be hanging out in a field, and then he would go up and spend time by himself in a cave. And again, I'm ad-libbing. And he did this for quite some time. He'd just go up there and hang out in the fucking cave, doing God knows what. And then, eventually, he went up to the cave, and all of a sudden the angel Gabriel came down and said he was the next fucking messenger. And then somehow this motherfucker convinced nations that he was the true prophet. And I will get into that more. I just needed to touch on that. But one of the things I wanted to touch on, and I know this is a controversial topic, and I'm going to get through at least the first part before I pile my ass into a song. Something I promise you, the song that I'm going to play after this is nothing to have to do with Islam. That I promise. We're going to try to get away from that for a minute. But this section, this thing that I want to talk about now is something that is interesting to me because it describes how to beat the shit out of your wife. That's what it describes. Now, although Christianity does not describe the exact way you can beat your wife, it seems that to me, from the religions that I've studied and this, that, and the other, that, man, religion just fucking hates women. They just do. Every single solitary religion seems to fucking hate women and put them below a man. Almost every one of them. Not everyone, but almost everyone. All the main ones, for sure. And so, in the Quran, it states how you can beat your wife if she gets out of line. Now, again, I'm sure... well, I was going to make a reference about the South, how Jim Bob down there is going, all right, listen to this, girl. They going to show me how I can beat you. But, you know, the Southerners, there's some Christian motherfuckers, man. There's no Muslims there, I don't think. At least not in Tennessee. Maybe Georgia, I don't know. This guy is very interesting to me because you need to look into this guy. His name's Memory, Memri, and look him up on YouTube. But he'll explain exactly it in his own words, you know, which is and all that. But they clear it up for you. I mean, an Egyptian cleric appearing on a recent television show on Raqqa TV Africa told a woman who sent in a question from Norway, is it okay for Muslim husbands to beat wives so long as they don't touch the face? Now, this guy is on fucking television. Evidently, this Raqqa TV, Europe, Africa, or whatever, is watched by, like, fucking every Muslim. I mean, that's their thing. They watch this shit. So it's millions. Now, I have to give something to the Muslims. They don't hide shit. Well, I mean, a good practicing, you know, the one that actually does everything he's supposed to do, according to the Quran, they don't fucking, they don't try to hide their shit. I mean, Christians, however, they just hide their fucking hate and they hide their crap or they don't want to say something that doesn't seem right. Like a lot of our politicians. Well, abortion. Ooh, well, you can have it, right? But I don't fucking like it. Shit like that. Followers of Islam? Who knew? They're like, I'll tell you exactly how you should beat your fucking wife. So, this lady from Norway calls in. She says, she goes, I heard that it's okay for Muslim husbands to beat their wives so long as they don't touch their face. Is this true? The Middle Eastern Media Research Institute a report that cleric Mohammed al-Dinwai. Now, I want to spell this for you. Get a piece of paper because it's on TV. He'll say it right there. No problem. He also says a couple other things I'll get into. Mohammed, M-A-H-M-O-U-D, Al-A-L-D-E-N-A-W-A-Y, read a question from a woman from Norway during a 17th show. What is the Islamic view on the beating of wives? He then said that non-believers, those of faith other than Islam, often use that point as is criticism for Muslim. He then said, Memory reported, indeed, many people take this as something to stab Islam and to stab Muslims. Now, this is evidently quoted. They say, here Muslim is calling for the beating of wives. There are so many sayings, look, I'm getting an accent now, and so many misconceptions about this, but they forgot one important thing. Allah says that if there is a problem, if a lady, for example, who is disobedient, and she has a bad behavior, for example, the husband should do his best to correct her to fix the issue. This is what he says. First, the husband should try to verbally correct her. Okay, now us as American men, we got that part down. We try to. It never fucking works, but we try to. This is what the cleric said. He should verbally try to correct her. If that doesn't work, he should then move into a different bed. So in other words, he corrects her. She says, fuck yourself. And then he goes and sleeps somewhere else. Pretty much the same shit here, right? Only after that, though, should the man beat her, he said. Okay, so I'm going to run it down for you. What he's saying is the first thing is you verbally correct her and tell her to shut the fuck up and you don't want to hear no more. If she does the shit again, then you need to go sleep somewhere else, which is what she wants anyway. Okay, but you got to go sleep somewhere else. Then if she gets a little uppity, you know what I'm saying? She gets a little uppity, and you can beat shit out of her, that's fine. And that's the law. Perfectly all right. However, but even then, there are rules that must be followed. At the end, Allah says, sleep in beds apart and beat them. When it comes to beating, he should never beat her harshly. I mean, is that like a bitch slap? Is that harsh? Or, I don't know. I mean, are we using phone books here? Maybe rubber hoses or something? I don't know how harshly. I mean, what constitutes harshly? Oh, look at that. He says, he should never raise his hand. He should never beat her on her face, but he can use something very simple, like a siwak, a dental stick. I don't even know what the fuck that is. What is a dental stick? I'm thinking of that shit that I have in a bathroom right now. That dental floss that goes, it's like got the little plastic handle and they stretch that fucking, the shit across it for you so you can pick your teeth. That's what I'm thinking. But evidently over there it's something else. Probably larger. Oh, no, maybe not. Something simple like a dental stick, that's a siwak, or something like this pen. And evidently he holds up the pen. I don't know how you beat a woman with a pen. This beating should not be led to breaking her arm or tooth, the cleric said. Memory reported, he should avoid this because the prophet urged us and told us that when you beat someone, You should never beat him or her on his or her face. This is because the face is owned by Allah. Evidently, God only gives a shit about the nigga.